You board a plane, you sit down, you put on headphones. 12 hours later you step off in a different country, mildly annoyed about the legroom. Your ancestors did not have that option. For most of human history, crossing an ocean meant disappearing into a wooden box for months, with no way back and no way to call for help. But the real answer to how they survived it is far stranger than endurance. It is a story about scurvy, madness, luck, and a kind of psychological rewiring that modern science is only now starting to understand. Picture a ship in the 1500s. 60 men, a hull the length of a tennis court. No refrigeration, no radio, no idea what lies beyond the horizon. Food is dry biscuit and salted meat. Water turns green in the barrels within weeks, and the ocean itself doesn't care whether you make it. Why would anyone get on that ship? Because the alternative, staying home, meant no spices, no trade, no new land, no wealth. Ambition was stronger than fear. But ambition doesn't stop your gums from bleeding. Scurvy was the real killer. Not storms, not pirates, not sea monsters, a vitamin deficiency. When Ferdinand Magellan's fleet attempted to circle the globe in 1519, roughly 250 men set out. Fewer than 20 came home. Most of them didn't die in battle. They died from a disease caused by something as simple as the absence of vitamin C. Here's the strange part. Nobody knew that yet. Sailors believed scurvy was caused by bad air, by laziness, by God's punishment for sin. Teeth fell out, old wounds reopened, men's legs turned black, and still, for 2 more centuries, nobody connected the dots. It took a Scottish naval surgeon named James Lind to change that. In 1747, aboard the ship HMS Salisbury, Lind ran what's now considered one of the first controlled clinical trials in history. He took 12 sick sailors, split them into pairs, and gave each pair a different treatment: vinegar, seawater, cider, citrus fruit. Only one group improved. The pair eating oranges and lemons recovered almost completely within days. It seems obvious now. It was revolutionary then, and yet it took the British Navy another 42 years to officially adopt citrus rations for its sailors. Bureaucracy, it turns out, can be slower than science. Once it did, sailors nicknamed the British limeys, a word that still survives in slang today, born from a solution to a disease that had killed more sailors than every war combined. But surviving the body was only half the problem. The mind had to survive too. Imagine months with the same 60 faces. No new information, no horizon that changes, just water, sky, and the creak of timber. Isolation like that does something to a person. Researcher Lawrence Palinkas, who has spent decades studying human behavior in extreme, confined environments, from Antarctic research stations to submarine crews, found a consistent pattern. After the first few weeks, people in isolation often go through something researchers call the third quarter phenomenon. Morale drops hardest not at the beginning, when everything is new, and not at the very end, when the destination is close. It drops in the middle, when the mind can no longer see the start or the finish. Sailors on long voyages hit that wall constantly. Diaries from whaling ships and merchant vessels describe strange behavior emerging around month 2 or 3. Obsessive routines, irritability, men who stopped speaking for days. Some historians believe this is part of why maritime superstition became so intense. Sea shanties, rituals, lucky charms, small acts of control in an environment where control barely existed. Your brain, it turns out, doesn't handle vast, featureless environments well. It craves landmarks. It craves change. Deprive it of both, and it starts inventing meaning out of nothing. A shape in the fog, a pattern in the waves, a superstition worth repeating every single day just to feel like something is being managed. There's a physical adaptation too, one your body still performs today if you've ever set foot on a boat. Your inner ear tracks balance using fluid in tiny canals. On solid ground, that system matches what your eyes see. On a rolling ship, it doesn't. Your eyes say the horizon is steady. Your inner ear says the world is tilting. That mismatch is what causes seasickness. But something remarkable happens after a few days at sea. The brain recalibrates. It starts trusting the ship's motion as the new normal. Sailors called this finding their sea legs. Neuroscientists now understand it as a genuine form of sensory adaptation, the same neural flexibility that lets you ignore the feeling of clothing on your skin after a few minutes of wearing it. Here's the twist, though. That adaptation doesn't just disappear the moment sailors step back on land. Many describe a lingering sway for days or even weeks after returning to solid ground, a phenomenon now studied under the name mal de débarquement. Your brain adapted so well to the ship's motion that solid, unmoving Earth starts to feel wrong. The body doesn't distinguish between what's real and what it has practiced. It just adjusts to whatever world you keep giving it. Diet solved one crisis. Psychology explained another. But timing and navigation nearly solved or nearly doomed everything else. Before satellite positioning, sailors navigated using dead reckoning, tracking speed, direction, and elapsed time to estimate position, alongside the stars when skies were clear. It worked mostly, but small errors compounded across thousands of miles. Ships missed islands by hundreds of miles. Crews ran out of food searching for land that should have appeared days earlier. The invention of an accurate marine chronometer in the 1700s by clockmaker John Harrison finally solved the problem of calculating longitude at sea, turning ocean navigation from educated guesswork into genuine precision. Before Harrison, being lost at sea wasn't a metaphor. It was a daily, literal risk that could last for weeks. So what actually got early sailors across the ocean? Not toughness alone, not bravery alone. A slow, brutal accumulation of trial and error, paid for in scurvy-ridden gums and shipwrecks, and men who never made it home, until each mistake became a lesson someone else didn't have to repeat. Vitamin C in limes, controlled trials from a Scottish surgeon, precise clocks from an English carpenter's son. Rituals invented by men with nothing else to hold on to in the middle of an empty ocean. None of it looks like heroism from a distance. It looks like humans doing what humans have always done, adapting a little at a time until the impossible becomes routine. Which brings us back to you, on that plane, mildly annoyed about the legroom. Your ancestors didn't survive the ocean because they were fearless. They survived because their bodies adjusted to motion that shouldn't have made sense, because their minds invented order out of chaos, because someone, eventually, asked a simple question about citrus fruit and refused to stop asking why. 12 hours in the sky is nothing compared to what got you here. But the same brain that once learned to trust a rolling ship is still in your skull right now, still quietly adapting to whatever world you hand it, whether that world is an ocean or just a slightly cramped economy seat.